Okay, my name is Ada Bobineau. I am the founder and booking agent for Nommo Speakers Bureau. Nommo Speakers Bureau is a boutique booking agency that books filmmakers of color. We book a wide variety of speakers, empowering and inspirational speakers who basically have alternative thoughts and views and basically contribute in their artistic fields to our community in various ways, like I said, to help empower and inspire our people. We are pleased to join with urbanfreelancers.com with Maxie Collier and Schatar Collier, the founders, to bring us Google Hangout, just the how-tos, and give us instruction on ways that this video conferencing system can help us to reach a wider variety of people, not only in our country, but outside of the country, around the world. And so we are very inspired by that. I'd like for everybody during the course or after to, one, spread the word about Nommo Speakers Bureau, and check out the website at www.nommospeakersbureau.com, because we have a wide variety of speakers that would be great to bring to your organizations, groups, churches, institutions, that will definitely leave keep the conversation going and inspire action. That's our motto. Nommo means.
Who are some of the folks you represent, Ada?
Sure. Primarily, I started as blackfilmmakers.net, so I expanded beyond that. So our large base right now, is Black independent filmmakers, and we have expanded to literary and historians and scholars. But we have on our bureau Haile Garima, who is the, just the Black independent filmmaker in terms of veterans. We have Haile Garima, we have Charles Burnett. Again, they're both with the LA Rebellion movement from the 70s. We have Raoul Peck, we have Uzan Palsi. We have Pamela Samuels Young, who's just came on Nommo and is joining us live on this conversation. We have Nathan McCall and Kimba Smith, who are also writers and speakers. So those are just a few of our speakers. Definitely check out the website. There's historians as well, such as Anthony Browder and Dr. Ackland Lynch as well. So those are just a few to give you a taste, but again, check out the website, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. Okay? So without further ado, I want to turn the floor over to our technology experts from urbanfreelancers.net. So Maxie and Schatar Collier, welcome, and thank you for giving us this opportunity, this platform to teach us more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ada, and thank you for making this happen. And that's one of the things. Just to give a little background, Ada and I have known each other for many years. We both started off at Black Entertainment Television and have continued to be collaborators and brainstormers and muses, for each other creatively over the years. So last week, Ada, about 2 weeks ago, Ada and my wife and I were on a conversation on the telephone discussing some business, and I said, Ada, you could jump on Gmail right now and you can click a little button in the lower left corner that says chat, and we could immediately begin a video conference. And we did. And so we ended up conferencing online for nearly an hour. And coming out of that conversation, Ada said, I really want to figure a way to share this technology with the artists and the entrepreneurs and the folks that I represent in my bureau. So she organized this great event today, which is using Google Hangout for your business and your brand. Now, just to give a little background, teleconferencing and web conferencing started in popularity probably about 10 or 15 years ago. The services such as GoToWebinar and also called GoToMeeting, as well as services such as Skype, became very popular in the mid-2000s as a means for people to connect with each other without having to travel great distances. So when we look at services like GoToWebinar and Skype and now Google Hangout, they all have the same intention, and that is allowing people to connect via audio and via video in order to collaborate. Now, what's so great about Google Hangouts is that it is already built into the Google infrastructure that so many people are using. So if you're using Gmail already, you can very easily set up in your own Google Hangouts. If you're using Google Apps, which is the professional business branded version of Google Hangout, of Google email services, you can also use the Google Hangout. But for today, we are specifically going to talk about how we can use Google Hangouts to promote our individual brands and businesses. So, Schatar, we've used Google Hangouts, over the past, recently. What were some of the benefits that you've seen?
So many benefits, including the fact that you're able to stream your program live, but you're also able to capture that program and rebroadcast it for your viewers. So that was an extremely beneficial thing.
Yes, and now as we talk about the Google Hangouts, there's a couple of different varieties that it comes in. There is the private Google Hangouts where you're able to have sessions with up to 10 people via audio conferencing. But then there's also something called Google Hangouts on Air. That's what we're doing right now, where we're able to have a conference such as this and also stream this live over YouTube where people can go see it, as well as embed that YouTube code on our own website. So there are certain people right now who are watching this program directly on Urban Freelancers. There's other people who may be watching it on YouTube. So now what you'll notice as well is that this Google Hangouts has the capability to do things such as switch the cameras between your parties. So you're able to designate who controls the camera, who controls the microphone, but there's also add-ons. So if you notice down in the low, you'll see a title beneath my name and Schatar's name. This is using a plugin for Google Hangouts, which allows you to add graphics and other capabilities as well. So we want to talk about how you can start using this right now. So as we mentioned, you need a Gmail account or a Google Apps powered email account. Now, with the Gmail account, if you log in, you can look in the lower right column of the page and you'll see on the lower left side of the page, you'll see a little link that says make calls. Now, if you don't see that, then you may need to install the Google Hangouts plugin, which by default is not necessarily installed, but that's a very quick install. You only have to do it once. And you'll know because when you click on the button that says make calls, you'll see the icon down there. It will say you need to install the Google Hangout. That's one way of setting up a Hangout. I will click on the start button, and we have graphics to go with this. This presentation. We'll be including a link where people can download a PDF that demonstrates exactly some of these things that we're talking about. And Google Plus does have the capability for sharing the screen. So for example, if I click screen share here, I can choose whether I want to share the entire screen or just the Google Hangout screen. Now, we're not going to do this at this particular time, but we'll explore that later because that's a very strong and powerful option, the ability to share your screen. This is where people are using Google Hangout in order to share PowerPoint presentations, to share photos, stills, videos. We could even go to YouTube and watch videos together if we wanted to. So that is the basic way, is to go into Gmail, go into that lower left column and click make a call. And that is a basic way of having a private Google Hangout. Now, you can also go directly to the Google Hangouts page. And this is a link where it has public Hangouts that are available for you to view. So you can go right now and watch thousands of people around the world as they are publicly sharing their materials. In some cases, it's people who are playing video games who are sharing that live with people. Other cases, it's people doing software tutorials and educational programs. But if you go to Google and type google.com/hangouts with an S, it'll take you to that page where you can see some of the live on-air Google Hangouts that are occurring right now. Now, as we talk about branding, as we talk about marketing and promotion, the idea of having a live webinar that's available to the world at no charge is a super powerful idea. So let's look at how some of these folks are using this technology. If you visit a website called Mixergy, MIXGERY.com, Mixergy is a website that's devoted to startup entrepreneurs. And every week, the founder of the website goes and interviews startup executives remotely, sometimes via Skype, sometimes via Google Hangout. He interviews these folks, and then he makes a transcription of this interview. So basically, it's taking the pre-recorded video, because this is, again, this is the great thing about Google Hangouts. This program that we're doing right now is streaming live YouTube, as we mentioned, but it's also being recorded without us having to do any additional software or services. It's automatically being recorded for a replay. So what we'll do is we'll download this video, we'll chop off some of our little rough patches at the beginning, and then re-upload it to YouTube and make it available to people. But there's also a business model that people are using, where, such as Mixergy, there's another website called creativelive.com.
Now, you did mention about the transcription. What are some things people can do with those?
Yes, okay. So the idea is you have a recording of your video that is stored on YouTube. You're now able to take this audio and send it to a service such as Fiverr, which is one that we use frequently. Fiverr is a freelancing website where you can find people who will do services for you from $5 and up. So we're able to take audio from a video program, upload it to Fiverr, and then for basically $5 per 15 minutes, you get a text transcription back of the video. So this entire conversation that we're having right now can be pre-recorded. We can take the audio portion of the program, upload it to Fiverr, and then 3 days later, we'll have text back from this video presentation. So the benefit of that is now you're able to, in one swoop, you're able to create video content, audio content, and text content. You know, this is what we call the transmedia maker process. Transmedia maker's process. The idea of creating content that then can be repurposed. So just in review, right now, this program is going out live over YouTube. It's being pre-recorded by YouTube. We can choose whether to make that recording available to the public or keep it private, or we can download the recording and then totally take it off YouTube. So if you Google Superhero Social Media Summit, Superhero Social Media Summit, this is a teleconference that is held by an organization where they bring together for 10 days a bunch of social media specialists, and the hostess interviews these folks remotely using YouTube, just like this. She promotes the program in advance, so she gets a lot of interest. Her goal is this, is for a 10-day series to interview 10 specialists. Though each of those recordings, each of the live streams is made available for free to the public, but then as soon as the 10 days are over, she downloads all 10 of those sessions and bundles them together into a program that she calls the Social Media Superhero Summit, and then she sells that bundle for $197. So this is basically showing how people are able to use this technology, one for marketing, one for promotions, but also to create content. You know, and I see we have another guest who's joined us down here. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, how you doing? Are you able to hear me?
Welcome.
Cool, cool. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Are there any questions that you guys have so far on what we discussed about the basic introduction to Google Hangouts?
When you talked about when it was recorded on YouTube, how is that edited? Is there a special editing device on YouTube to edit it down before it reaches the public?
Okay, great question. Yes, YouTube does have a built-in editor. It's if you go to youtube.com/editor, you can edit online any video that you've recorded, that you've uploaded to YouTube. And what it does, it's just like the old school nonlinear editing systems that we used early on that we used to pay $300 an hour for. You're just able to do it all online by going to youtube.com/editor. Any pre-existing video, you'll see a timeline there where you're able to drag that video down to the timeline, and you're able to trim your videos down. But we also use certain software, like there are websites that you can go and you can drop a YouTube URL in, and it will download any YouTube video that you find online. You know, so you're able to actually download the media directly and edit it in your nonlinear editing system, or you can also edit it on YouTube.
With no editing experience.
With no editing experience, no software, no downloads. You know, and this is what we tell folks a lot of times when it comes to YouTube. I mean, it has capabilities where you can log into YouTube right now with your webcam, record video directly there, and then go to the YouTube editor, edit that video, and you've made a video blog in just a matter of minutes using tools that are built already into YouTube.
Okay.
So there's other programs that we use as well. So although YouTube allows pre-recording of the video, there's other screen capture programs that we use and software that we use sometimes. One of them is called Camtasia. Camtasia is a screen capture program for when we create software tutorials. It'll capture anything that appears on the screen, and then we're able to do editing in there and add notes and annotations and things like that, over it as well. So that's the idea, that YouTube is concurrently, it is your production, distribution, and post-production platform. Now, the other thing that's exciting about this, as well as we talk about YouTube, is the fact that when these videos are recorded and go into your catalog, if you choose to make them public, you can click another button there on YouTube called Monetize, and all of a sudden the program that you just created that will run ads in front of it, and now you can generate revenue off of the program that you just recorded. Because these ads, you basically make about $2 per 1,000 views. These are the ads that run in front of the video on YouTube, as well as the ads that run on the bottom, the little banner ads, and the ads that run on the side of a YouTube page.
And there's another fact I'd like to share about, if you have a YouTube clip and your clip, let's say it's 30 minutes long, studies have shown that viewers like shorter clips. So you may want to limit your clips to 3 to 5 minutes, and so that has double benefit for you. Number one, your clips are now shorter, your audiences can consume them with ease, but then the second thing is you get to monetize each of those videos. So instead of one video at 30 that's monetized, you may now have 5 videos that are monetized, so that's 5 times the amount for you.
Yes, very good point. And one of the things, as we think about how to chop up longer programs into smaller segments, that's one of the reasons why, even for today's program, we created something called a rundown. And this rundown basically gives a breakdown approximately in a segment structure. Okay, because this is one of the benefits that we're finding with my wife having worked in television for years, myself having worked in television, is that while you may meet YouTube stars who are making $100,000 a year doing videos where they're just playing video games or making simple videos, we find that a lot of folks do not have television management experience. So one of the things that has been helpful to us during these live webinars and things is to treat this like a live television broadcast, and to identify early on how you want to break your topics into different segments. So then it's very easy, and in television we call that a show rundown. So we basically, before we do any webinar, and whether we start late or any technical difficulties, you can anticipate some of those things. But the rundown will make sure that we are achieving our learning goals. So in this case, we are continuing down this rundown to move on to the next topics. Are there any questions before we move on to the next topics? You good?
Yeah. I just wanted to know, I'm always interested in capturing larger audiences, reaching out to larger audiences. So how is Google Hangout used to reach out to wider audiences and promotion, PR, and all? I mean, do you use that in combination with Twitter and Facebook and all the other stuff? Or, I mean, what are some ways that it can be used for that?
No, great question. Okay, so there's a few ways that people are using webinars in general. Even if we're not just discussing, Google Hangout. Okay, so for example, you'll see a lot of these situations where people create a landing page, and for a webinar like this, they'll say, sign up for my free webinar on how to use Google Hangouts for your business. Enter your email address below. Okay, so in this model, their number one goal is to capture an email address in order to build a long-term relationship with the person. So if you're using a service like Aweber or MailChimp or some of these other services that have autoresponders, what you're able to do is pre-create a series of messages that help you build a relationship with the viewer. So that when someone enters that email address, your first message to them may be, hey, thanks a lot for signing up for Nommo's monthly speakers bureau. But because you have an autoresponder, it may send another message 3 days later or another message the next week. So this is how they're doing automated marketing. They're using the webinars as a draw to draw people's attention. Then they get their email address. then they use the autoresponders to send additional information to build that long-term relationship. This is what they call an internet marketing sales funnel. And it's based on the idea from the time you get an email address to the time that person does a business or service with you, what sort of communications are you going to have with them? And we don't want this to have to be one-on-one communications because that's not necessarily scalable. But when you use an autoresponder such as Aweber or that which MailChimp, you have written those 12 messages and they're going to go out automatically and you're building the relationship autonomously. Yes. So that's one of the ways that people are using the webinars. So in this case, the webinar is a promotional tool. It's a draw. So if we look at a website like creativelive.com, Creative Live is a website that's devoted to teaching media, art, and entrepreneurship technology via online courses. This started with one man who wanted to teach people about photography. And so what he decided he was going to do was have a weekly free webinar where he did live, in-depth tutorials. I mean, you see some of these webinars, they only give you enough information to try to bait you to buy the product. What he decided was he was going to give them the whole shebang based upon the idea that people tuning in live to watch that event, they would probably need the replay or they probably would need to watch it at their own time in order to really learn that information. Well, from the very first webinar that Creative Live did 4 years ago to now, they've grown into a multi-million-dollar company using this as their model. Give away the information with live streaming. They treat it like a television program, multi-camera shoots, and then once the program has been pre-recorded, they sell that recording. And if you buy the recording while the live event is happening, you'll get a discount. And then otherwise, you have to buy it afterwards. So again, this is two ways. One, using the webinar or the web conferences for marketing purposes, where you want to get that email. The other is using the webinar or the teleconference to create content, which is also served as free marketing. Here's an example of some of the numbers. On Creative Live, they may have a course on how to do Photoshop for free, and they'll have 150,000 people tune in to that free webcast. Yep, 150,000, and then they do like the actuarial science, like the insurance folks. They know that X percentage of every person who tunes in live for free is going to buy a paid download, you know. And so Creative Live has been profitable since their very first webinar, and they've received like $40 million in venture capital over the past couple of years. And now they have 4 studios across the country. At any given time, you can log in and watch a free program on Creative Live.
And those websites are creativelive.com. And then the 2 mail services are Aweber, that is A-W-E-B-E-R, and MailChimp, M-A-I-L-C-H-I-M-P.
And with Aweber, they have a little $1 trial membership. And again, that idea of automated marketing is how we can, because when these webinars are successful, you know, there's going to be lots of people there. And then, so how do you build a relationship? How do you maintain the relationship? Do we send individual emails? No, you want to send pre-scripted, personalized materials that you can write once and then it shoots out, you know, to those folks repeatedly. Yes. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? I see someone else has joined us. WN. Who's WN?
Waltrina Middleton.
Okay. Hello, Waltrina.
Welcome.
All right. Cool. Pamela, do you have any questions or anything?
No, all sounds good.
All right.
Wonderful.
Okay, cool. All right, so now we're going to move on to, okay, so we talked about the Superhero Summit, and we talked about the Superhero Summit as an example. You know, and again, Ada, when we talk about, you know, the roster of folks that you have there in the Bureau, you may choose a topic, you may choose a theme. Let's just say hypothetically you chose that you wanted to rally some of your folks there around the idea of community service, you know, using their arts, their talents for community service. You could have one or a series of webinars. You know, it may be a 10-minute one, it may be a 1-hour one, or whatever. But you may incrementally give people information to help them do an initiative that you put into effect. You know, it doesn't have to be 1-hour webinars. It doesn't have to be the public ones. It may be the private organizing ones where you're sharing files back and forth. Because this is where the real power of this technology comes in. It is not simply with the Google Hangouts, but it's the fact that we can share documents and do live collaborations. So if we wanted to right now, we can share a link so that everyone on this conversation can be looking at a document that we've pre-made that has all the notes. And they can be typing and adding their materials to that as well. So there's a whole universe as we look at it. There's Google Hangouts, there's YouTube, there's Google Gmail, there's Google Docs. All of these can work together to do things that we used to pay a whole lot of money for. We used to pay hundreds of dollars just for a word processing program. Now you can go to Google Docs and you can log in for free with your Gmail and you can start writing right there. Just go to Google Docs, you go to Gmail, go up in the upper right corner, you'll see 4 little squares, you click it, and you see where it says Documents. You click that and you can start typing a WordPress, you can create a PowerPoint, you can create a spreadsheet, all online. And then you can click Share, and all of those resources can be made available to anybody that you want to. Okay, so, but I want to talk also again about the idea of these plugins, because there's plugins that come in 2 different ways. There are plugins that are designed to work within Google Hangout, so they add capabilities such as the one where you see the graphic with our name behind it. That's called Google Hangout Toolbox, Toolkit. It's the Google Hangout Toolbox. And it's a free add-on that when you go into the Hangouts, you have the option of adding these add-ons, and this is just one of the ones we do. And after we hang up from this call, I would encourage anyone who's watching to immediately go to Google Hangouts and try launching it. Try a launch, communicate with a friend, say, hey, I want to just talk to you, communicate with a family member. And again, you can go right into your Gmail on the left-hand side, or you can go into the Google Hangouts at google.com/hangouts, and you'll see a button that says Start a Hangout. Or the third way, you can go into YouTube, click Video Manager, and you'll see on the left-hand side where it says Live Events. When you click that Live Events, you'll be able to pre-schedule a live Google Hangout. And then from that point when it's pre-scheduled, YouTube treats it just like any other video, where you get a link for that Hangout and you get an embed code. And with that embed code, you can take it and drop it right into your own website. So now people are able to watch you in your own webinar live on your website, just like some people are doing right now with us, Urban Freelancers.
And since we're not sharing documents on the screen, I'll go ahead and show you a printout of it. So for those of you who do have Gmail, you'll recognize this page as the interior of your Gmail account. You want to check right here. This is where you actually place the call to begin your Google Hangout.
Yes, and again, that's for a private Google Hangout. If you want to go to YouTube, it's a separate link, and we'll show this right here. So within Google Plus is Google's answer to Facebook. It's their social networking. So within the Google Plus, you'll see in the lower right corner a page that says Join this Hangout. Now there is another place as well where you can schedule Hangouts, and that's in Google Calendar. So with Google Calendar, you schedule an event, and then you'll see there in that lower corner where it says Join Meeting. Now, part of the reason for a little bit of a confusion that we had early on with the links is if you schedule something in Google Hangout, it makes it as a private event. But if you want it to go out to YouTube, you have to do Google Hangouts on Air. That's the other option in order to get it to stream out over YouTube. Now going back to plugins, again, we mentioned that there's plugins that are available for Google Hangout, but there's also plugins for WordPress that will help you incorporate and manage your Google Hangouts within your WordPress platform. Now, these are just now in the past few months growing in popularity because people are getting tired of paying GoToWebinar and GoToMeeting and some of these places large amounts of money. And for these commercial services like GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar, you're paying for every person that logs in.
Now, a lot of people may have questions about WordPress and the integration. A lot of people have WordPress websites. Can you tell them about how they can integrate their web stream on their site?
Yes. Okay, so in the simplest way of integrating your web stream on your site is to add that embed code, is to get that embed code from YouTube, and then you go into any regular WordPress page and you simply add the conference the exact same way you would add a video to it. So in this case, this is an example of our WordPress page for Urban Freelancers where we added the code there. So we went into a regular page on WordPress. We had to add it, go into the text editor versus the regular. We pasted that code in, and now everyone's able to watch this Hangout live on urbanfreelancers.com/live. So if you think of the idea of a weekly talk show or a weekly radio show or a weekly information show, and again, it may be a 5-minute update, it may be a 10-minute update or whatever, but if you're having a regularly scheduled program on Google Hangout, something begins to happen with what we call the search engine optimization of your website. The more of these Hangouts that you have, because YouTube is owned by Google, so the more video content you create or upload through YouTube, and the more you tag that information properly, the more Google shows you love in the search engines. So when you are regularly doing shows and regularly doing broadcasts, your videos live a couple of places. One, they live on your YouTube channel if you choose to make them public. But then two, you embed that in your blog, and now you have 2 pages for every stream. That may seem like a little redundancy, but again, the benefit of embedding it in your own personal blog is you're now driving people to your site, and you're getting the benefits. So if you look on our page, urbanfreelancers.com/live, you'll see the embed of this webcast, and then you'll see at the bottom we're also able to add pointers and facts about the webcast, and we're able to add a little box telling people enter your email address to be notified of future webcasts and things like that. Any questions so far?
Okay.
We're good?
Good. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So in discussing about these WordPress plugins, there's because the webinar services, cost $25 to hundreds of dollars per month, depending on the usage. There's been an increasing popularity in the past few months of coders who develop plugins to help you manage. Because again, a lot of stuff with Google has little technical quirks that can make it a little bit frustrating sometimes, which is why people do use GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar, because those are super specific, super focused, and once you can just work it. So it's kind of the same thing. You may have to experiment with the private Google Hangouts and with your public streaming in order to find a workflow. But there is a plugin called One-Click Plugin. The One-Click plugin for WordPress, it costs $197, but it allows you to manage every aspect of your webinar within WordPress. You don't even have to go to Google. You don't even have to go to YouTube. It lets you schedule webinars. It lets you archive them. Like that.
Some of Glasgow people.
All right, I see someone else joined us. Who's that right here?
Fine, how about you?
Good to see you.
You probably need to mute.
Yes, I got it. Okay.
Can you keep?
Yep, I got it muted. Okay, so that's another good point. There is another plugin for Google Hangouts that offers what they call a control panel. And this control panel allows you to do things like accept or reject people from joining your conference, as well as decide who has the mic, who's get title. It's literally like a control room like we worked in those broadcast stations years ago. Okay, so our next topic is, we talk about how to stream it over YouTube, how to stream the program on your website. Okay, how to archive and download for editing and redistribution. Now, we talked about that briefly, the idea that anything that is streamed live over YouTube with the Google Hangout on Air is automatically pre-recorded. Now, you have an option when you set up this Google Hangout on Air, so you can choose whether that recording is made private. And that's the model that some people use. Have the free session go out live over YouTube or on your own website, and then once the session is over, take that pre-recorded video, chop it up. Like, so even for this video, for example, we will take this video here and we will cover portions of this with some screen captures where we'll show some of the slides and some of the other things we're talking about. It will go through a post-production process. But once that's done, we have now we've made content. Right now, we are in the process of making content right here. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll take that recording of that video, we will strip the video off and take the audio, we will upload it to Fiverr, and our 60-minute conversation will come back as 60 pages of text. Now, it's the same way. Well, we have to clean that text up, but now you have blog posts that you've been able to create out of your same session. When we're talking about 60 pages of text, that's like a year's worth of blog posts.
Yes.
Yes, it's an ebook. Yes, and so, but the key thing here is in doing this approach is to have structured your content in advance so that you can anticipate what some of these discussions are. So we talked about using the YouTube monetization with YouTube running ads, but there are other models that people are using for monetizing these webinars, such as sponsors. When we look at the Mixergy website, Mixergy, MixGery.com, when we look at Mixergy, he starts every one of his webinars with a word from his sponsor. So UrbanFreelancers.com would like to give a word from our sponsors, Nommo Speakers Bureau, and thank them for this program today. That sort of slug people are paying for it because that lives forever. It varies. They're paying based upon your weekly viewership. And again, this is the other benefit of YouTube. If you tell someone, you're able to log in, do a screen capture of your statistics, and then tell a potential sponsor, here is evidence of how much traffic our videos are generating. Okay. And so they pay what they call CPM, cost per thousand of viewers. But yes, once you broadcast regularly and recurring, so that's one way is finding a sponsorship. Now there's another way of something called affiliate programs. There's companies, if you go to CJ.com, which stands for Commission Junction, CJ.com, or you can go to ClickBank, which is clickbank.com. You can find out there about companies that will pay you to promote their products and services on your own website or your own blog or your own video. I mean, thousands of companies that pay anywhere from 3% to 50%. And all you have to do is take their banner and put it on your website. Or you may mention the link in your video and include the link below. So let's say hypothetically it was an affiliate program for Aweber, the email service. We mention Aweber in this program. We get an affiliate. We go to Aweber, register as an affiliate, and then we drop that link in the description. We mention it in our program, then we drop it in the description. And then anytime someone clicked on that link and signed up for Aweber service, we get a little cut. This is called affiliate marketing. Well, Amazon has an affiliate program. Any product on Amazon, you can get between 3 and 6% for selling it. So let's say we reviewed a webcam. We said this little Sony 920 that we're using for here. We did a good review of that and a mention in our video, and we said if you like it, click the link below to buy it. They click that link, it goes to Amazon. Amazon knows that link came from us, and then we'll get 3 to 6%, depending on our monthly volume, for that affiliate marketing. And again, this is just some examples, but there are people who are making a living just off of affiliate marketing alone.
Yes.
So Pam, this would be, I was going to say, I'm sorry, I was going to say, Pam, this would be great for your book clubs. I mean, just having the Google Hangouts for your book clubs and promoting your books and putting, putting a link to Amazon or your website. This would be great for that.
Yes, because even for your own books, Pamela, you can do an affiliate link, and now you're getting an extra little percentage, just for your own. And then when you have supporters, who are promoting your book, you're now giving them an opportunity to be compensated for it as well. Yep. Any questions on that so far?
Nope.
All right. All right, cool. Okay, so.
Oh, Pam has a question.
Will this session be available by PDF? Will it be transcribed?
We're going to transcribe it. I am.
Yes. Yep, and we already have screen shares, that we've been sharing. But yes, we would transcribe this and then combine it with the screen shares, and now it's another product.
And the service that you said does that for $5 for 15 minutes, so that's like $20 for an hour of transcribing of.
Absolutely, it's called Fiverr, Fiverr.com.
Okay.
Fiverr.com.
And one thing about that website is everything on the site is $5. You can get graphic work done, you can get press releases, everything is $5.
Yes, and then you have to be careful because you have to pick your service providers right, because a lot of folks are from offshore. But if you find the English-speaking countries like Philippines, and stuff, then you can get a really good chance of getting stuff that's back and is properly edited.
And you can also check their star rating. Every single person on Fiverr has to have a rating for their account, so you can see someone who has really good reviews and then work with them once. If you like them, you can work with them over and over again to continue to publish your material.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And really, that's the reality that we're in now. It is like putting Lego blocks together. There's all these great tools that are out here. You know, and again, that's our mission here at Urban Freelancers, is to teach people about these tools. You know, and that's been my passion since the earliest days of this technology. But now it's just become cost effective for us to have sessions like this, you know, to where we can set aside some time where you don't have to come out of pocket, but you can share the information, and it stands the opportunity to be monetized. So each of these Lego blocks, Google Hangout is one little Lego block. Fiverr, one little Lego block. Camtasia is one little Lego block. There's all these tools that you can put together to do the things that you need strategically. Any questions? All right. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have on our comments? Have we covered all of our points here? Monetize your session, super. Yes, and so again, I would encourage everyone, and we'll have this PDF that has these links in it, but it's really Google Superhero Social Media Summit, and you will be very excited when you see the way that this woman has worked this program of, like I said, 10 days, free conferences, 1 hour, just like this. But then she takes them, makes them not be public anymore, makes them private, takes those videos together, and bundles that whole program together as a $197 downloadable product. And now there's another thing too, as we talk about YouTube. There's a super powerful capability on YouTube called annotations. Annotations allow you to put little messages and things that appear over top of your YouTube video. Well, there are certain e-commerce companies that have been pre-approved by YouTube so that you can make a message that says, watch this video on using Google Hangouts. They're watching the video and they see a little message pops up that says, download this video. They can click there and go to a pre-approved company such as the one we use called Sellfy, S-E-L-L-F-Y, S-E-L-L-F-Y. Sellfy is specifically for selling digital downloads.
And to get to the annotations, when you're in YouTube and you're in your Creator Studio, you click Edit, and then there you'll see your options of the things you can edit. You want to click Annotations, and that's where you add your annotations, where you can click everything from subscribe to my channel to buy my product. And as he was saying, there are very few ones that are approved. Sellfy is one that's approved, and Gumroad is another one that's approved. That's Gumroad, G-U-M-R-O-A-D. That way you can sell directly from your videos.
Yes, people are watching the promos. Wow. They see that little button that pops up. Now there's two types of annotations. Now there are two types. Originally there was just annotations, and now YouTube has something called cards. Cards put a little eye for information. When people click on that, it pops up, and then they can go order or whatever the action is. The important differentiation is annotations do not work on mobile phones, but the information cards do work on mobile phones. You know, so if you want to see an example of what Sellfy looks like, you can go to our website, urbanfreelancers.com/rise of the drones, urbanfreelancers.com/rise of the drones, and you can see how Sellfy, we have implemented Sellfy there to sell our drone course. People play the video, and then they can be prompted in the video. The little iCard comes up. They click it, and it'll go right to Sellfy, and they can order. They can basically order our product in 3 steps, directly from watching the video, you know, to a transaction. And then Sellfy, the way it works is the payment comes in, they pay us, they take their cut, and then now the person can go download that file as many times as we set it for. You know, so that's combining your video streaming, the annotations, and digital download. Now you have a marketing, promotion, and sales mechanism all in one place.
All in one, which is really great. And to give you some production tips before you do your live streams and webinars, you want to make sure that you have really good lighting so that people can see you. B, you want to make sure you have very clear audio so that the people can hear you. C, you want to look at the area behind you so that you make sure that everything that they're seeing on screen is something that is within your brand, because we are all building our brands and producing these webinars and these products that we create.
Yes. All right. Are there any other questions at present?
I just have a comment. I mean, it's still I mean, I'm a filmmaker, production background, but it still to me seems a little intimidating because I'm not a techie to make my way around all of this stuff. It seems like you're still going to need somebody like you all that can get you through all of this stuff. I don't know. It still seems a little bit intimidating. I think people are intimidated by the technology.
Oh no, it is. It can be. I mean, even for I mean, I've used computers since 1981. And so yes, it can be overwhelming. But what it is, it's kind of like just anything on a film set. We have to know our lanes and work our lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have a nephew, in Washington D.C. who loves YouTube and loves videos. Well, he can be your technical director. He doesn't have to be in the same room as you.
Right.
Like right now, if Schatar and I weren't on air, we could be switching for you. We could be adding lower thirds. We could be sharing the screen and everything for you remotely.
Yes, and for anyone who has a YouTube channel, at the very basics, here on the screen, you are in your YouTube channel, and then you go to your video manager, and here it says live events. So in your settings, you want to approve your YouTube account to be able to stream live, and then once you have done that, just click live events, and those are the basics. You will be able to stream your event live directly from your YouTube account.
And just as importantly, you can designate administrators and managers for your YouTube account where they don't even have to have access to once you make them an administrator or manager, they don't have to have access to your main account information and stuff, but they can still come in and do things with you. And this is for most of these services that we're talking about. They have administrative rights settings that allow you to bring managers in there. So whether we're talking about Facebook ads, which we'll do another webinar on, you can designate someone who is a manager on your Facebook page. They can run ads for you and everything, but they don't have access to any of your personal account information. So it just like how Ada, just like how having the outsourcer, for your website has taken that load off of your shoulders. There are multimedia specialists out here as well who that's all they want to do. They may not want to talk to people, but they may want to edit, they may want to shoot, they may want to switch, and things like that. So we call it the Avengers approach. The idea that we connect with a bunch of like-minded superheroes, and not everyone has to have the same power, and not everyone may get along. But if the mission is clear, and if everyone can get along clearly enough to achieve the mission, then I'm going to work my lane. I'm talking here on camera, but typically nowadays I'm very antisocial. My wife does most of the talking for us. We joke and say she's the social, I'm the media. And so as long as we can stay in those lanes, we do our business succeed. But when it's time for me to go talk or coddle a customer, I'm not that dude for that.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay. Well, you want to go first?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, Chris, your mic is open, so you can go ahead and start, then we'll come to you, Eugene.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, great. So one of the things I wanted to ask, I just kind of was able to notice that all throughout this, there appears to be a lag on the audio and the video, and I'm not sure if anybody else is seeing that on their side, but I'm seeing it from my side, and so I was just curious that is all this a result of just sort of the so like is it like the internet connection, is it sort of a glitch within the Hangouts, is it because of the amount of people that's on the video call, like that's causing that lag? Just curious.
Yeah, actually that's a great point, because if we were doing this, we are webcasting over our Wi-Fi right now.
Okay.
Ideally, we would set up and plug in directly to our Ethernet connection.
Okay.
And we would have another computer that is a redundant webcasting system as well. So yes, that lag that you're saying is a function of the speed of the rate of our internet connection, streaming HD, and and other things like that. But yes, ideally, and I've been on webinars that where they've had 3,000 people that have registered, but they had a technical glitch. So the glitches happen, but what we try to do is just allow enough time ahead of time, and we edit. So and then but in terms of the quality, it's interesting because that is one of the options that is available to you when you go into the YouTube control panel for your live stream, you're actually able to do a delayed broadcast. So you can beep somebody out. You can also set it so that it can have a DVR capabilities. So anybody joining this program right now live, they can go stream back, just like a regular DVR. So yes, the testing of your internet connection and the reliability are absolutely critical.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have a background.
You're welcome.
I have a background in production, and actually.
One second, Eugene. Let me unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
Okay, mic check. Yep, cool. Okay.
Now I can't hear you. Muted him.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I have a background in production as well, and broadcast. And matter of fact, what you're doing and what you've talked about is really great, because we used to do this via satellite, where if we want to bring a bunch of folks together, we would have to have a satellite broker, and we'd have to shoot the cameras and then uplink and downlink to do this. And so it's really great to be able to do the same thing via the internet. I'm more curious, technically, I can perceive having a server or something online to do if I really wanted to kick up, the production value of a webinar. But I guess I'm really more interested in the software that's available, particularly where you're switching, and I'm quite sure there's different type of switching software. Now, does Google, or do you have to go through Google, or could I research and get whatever the latest software that's out there? I mean, just like I guess I would imagine be like Final Cut Pro, but switching,
Great questions. Great questions, please.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm interested in right now.
No, please go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, there are definitely a variety of options. Okay, so when you go to YouTube and you click live events and you set a live event, there is a customized option that allows you to use your own encoder. So yes, you can absolutely have one of these hardware encoding boxes that's plugged in, and you can get better quality. You can have great control over your encoding, streaming,
Right.
and everything. Because right now it's adjusting the encoding based upon our internet connections.
So I could actually switch locally where I am without using Google switching mechanism.
Yes, right now we are switching live in the Google Hangout using just the basic built-in switching capabilities.
Okay.
There is a more advanced plugin that's available for Google Hangout that gives a lot more options for controlling the switching. Okay. And then the third option, as I mentioned, is having your own external encoding box and live stream. There's a service called livestream.com. And Livestream offers their own streaming platform. They're pretty expensive, but they have a box that's in like a $400 encoding box. And you can plug a camera into there, and it can wirelessly, it can encode it and have that stream go out ready for YouTube, ready for Livestream, or ready for anywhere else. If you go to livestream.com, at the bottom, you'll see some of their hardware options they have available for switching and encoding. So yes, you can do old school style and do a hardware switcher, all your camera inputs going into that hardware switcher, and that one output going directly into YouTube. And you can decide if you're doing a live wedding. So that's a great example. There's a lot of people I know who are doing live wedding. They're doing upgrades for their wedding packages, using YouTube streaming, just like this, so that people can go watch the weddings, on a page, and they're getting additional revenue for that, but they're not having to put out a lot more money to make that happen.
Yeah, but I see to kick out the production value, if I had roll-ins or if I had graphics, it would really kick up that value. Having that simple hardware. I mean, it's really. I have to do a little research, but I didn't even know that. I'm glad that Ada. I'm sorry that I'm late, but I'm glad that Ada put this together because it's very informative. And there's some other things going on too that that people are developing portals. So if we could put together a package of things and run them through portals, now that triples your viewership, so to speak. So I definitely see the value in this. I absolutely see the value in it. But I think it's important if you, depending upon your marketing or your audience, production value would make a big difference as well.
Yes, I agree. But there's a trick to that, though, Eugene. That is when you look at this YouTube generation. For those of us who come out of broadcasting, I know we get perplexed sometimes when we look at what becomes a hit and popular for the YouTube generation.
Yeah.
Like when we look at the whole Vine movement.
Right.
Vine is 15-second videos, and it's basically taking us back to the Nickelodeon era.
Right.
But there are people who are becoming stars off of that.
Right.
I hadn't heard of that. Okay.
Vine
is. But you know what though? I think that I'm with that, and I'm not talking about really going hog heaven, but I'm thinking more like hooking up different venues using this. And this is a friend of mine down in New Orleans was talking about. I think this is what he was talking about. I didn't get a chance to really talk to him about it last time I was down there, but he was saying there's a new way to use streaming and use streaming as broadcast. So this is kind of, I think, where he was coming from. And this dude, man, knows all about the hardware. So I'm gonna make a phone call to him first, because he's hip to all the new latest gadgets and all that kind of stuff. But definitely from stem to stern, this is a wonderful idea, and you guys it's opened up a whole nother way of content and developing content, because it's about content.
It is.
And what is so exciting too is the Google Hangouts app is available for every mobile phone platform.
Wow.
So right now we could have the app on an Android phone or iPhone or whatever and be streaming directly live from the phone and either watching as a viewer or streaming directly live from the phone right now.
Wow. That's impressive.
Is there a way that we know how many people have tuned in? I mean, everybody's not on the live chat with us, but is there a way that when we hang up or whatever, we know how many people watch this or are watching it?
Yes. Google will give us all sorts of analytics about how many people watched it, where they came from, and things like that. Okay. And those analytics, again, and the transparency of these Google analytics are what's really most exciting to me. Just like with Amazon, I mean, any of these places where we can log in on a daily basis and see how much revenue we generated, that's exciting. Especially coming from the world of distribution contracts. For my little movie, Paper Chasers, I got one royalty statement in 10 years.
Wow. Wow.
So when we're able to log in and get real-time statistics on the usage and find out what parts of the world people are coming from watching our stuff, then we're able to adjust our content accordingly to who it's resonating with.
Like doing subtitles or whatever is needed based on who's tuning in. Yeah.
Well, Ada, I think that for what Tony's doing in his new piece, I think that we need to talk about using something like this to that's something we can do for him.
Yeah, Tony's one of our historians and Egyptologists. Yeah.
Yes, because even as we talk about interview shows and stuff, when I did my documentary Paper Chasers, we ran up and around and drove across this country for years and years tracking down these interviews. Now as we talk about 15 years later doing a follow-up, I'm so happy to be able to sit at home and jump on the Google Hangout with Ludacris and not have to go nowhere. Not have to be in a rap light and all that.
Yeah.
Free.
Free. If you guys have any other questions, or any of you, feel free to email us. But if there's not any major questions right now, we can wrap up with what we said. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. We're checking the chat to see if there's any questions over here. Nope. Okay. Anybody else have any questions or anything related to this at this particular time?
So I think it's important just that we know that this can be used in any world. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not just a film or a book or television. It can be used in real estate. It can be used in medicine. I mean, doctors can chat between. That's the thing to really I wanted to hit home with people, because it can be empowering to anybody, any profession. It could be, a babysitter, a house. It could be anything in your profession that you can do a Google Hangout with and really pinpoint market to, your constituents.
You made that's a great point, Ada, because my son and I have been doing video conferencing for years, because he lives in Denver and I live in LA. And it's been one of video conferencing, audio conferencing has been one of my main ways of teaching him. Yep. So all right, well, Sweetheart, you have any other comments, questions?
Nope, just much success. I'm glad that you've had the introduction to this technology. There are so many things you can do with it. If you do decide to use affiliate codes such as the ones available at Amazon, you can find all kinds of products that are within your brand, such as your own books, as you mentioned. So just have fun with the technology and much success with it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
you're welcome.
Because by the time you combine Google Hangouts plus WordPress plus these little low-cost HD cameras, any of us can do our own BET with the right planning or strategy.
Okay. So our next Google Hangout that we're planning is with Pamela Samuels Young. And that's going to be planned for Thursday. This is a good dry run, y'all. I think you did well. You did well. So we're going to be ready for that, and I'll send out information for that after our MailChimp profile and blog goes out earlier in the week. So I want to thank Maxie and Schatar Collier. You all are awesome. And again, if anyone needs to get in touch with you all, I think that just for a further consultation, you can contact you. Let us know how. Let us know how you can contact you.
You can contact us directly by phone on 240-507-JOBS. That's 5627. So 240-507-JOBS.
And that is a number that is powered by Google Voice.
Yes.
And that's another separate webinar.
Okay.
Well, you don't pay for the phone bill. That's excellent.
I love it.
Thank you, Ada. This has been great. We really appreciate it. And thank you for continuing to be action-oriented after all these years.
Thank you for continuing to share. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay, you all, thanks for joining in, and I'll send you a link and let you know when the edited version is down, so we can you can see the rebroadcast and get more information that you missed, that you didn't write down. All right.
All right, thanks, Ada.
And we have the PDF too.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent.
All righty.
All right,
Bye-bye,
take care,
everyone.
everybody.
All right, ciao.